Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rogues Passage podcast. Today, well, first off, probably noticed
who are you?
I'm Brando. Nice to meet you.
I'm Tanner Cherry. What's up?
So you might have noticed that we were delayed. We're missing our last podcast episode, and that our gameplays
Slackers confirmed.
Yeah, and then our gameplays have been a little off kilter as well. Running a YouTube channel is hard. And there's a lot of back-end stuff that gets in the way, especially when you're living a very busy life. So apologies, I guess, for...
Yeah, I'm back in the film life. Brandon, the gameplay episode that we had to delay was because you got like a decent way through it and it was just like all corrupted.
Yep.
And like sometimes the only option is to start over.
Yeah, it was literally two of the three files were corrupted. And so I had to re-render them out, and then my computer refused to render them out without corrupting them again. I think I went through like 8 renders.
8? Wow.
Well, because it was basically 4 each. But yeah, I went through like 8 renders, and every single one was corrupted in a different way, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I still don't really know what was going on. But when a render, and just for anybody who's trying to get in this game, here's a little piece of advice for you. Even with a very juiced up PC, most renders are going to take you at least half hour to an hour. So
oh my God, that sounds so fast compared to mine right now.
Yeah, just to take that into an account that you go to render something that you're doing, you're probably going to be sitting there for an hour unable to use your PC.
No, that's okay. So have you been using Media Encoder?
Oh, but I don't touch it because I don't want things to screw up.
Okay. Yeah, it's a thing. I mean, what was it? Recently I was trying to render the podcast like the morning of trying to get it out, and it just wouldn't render. Yeah. It just kept failing. It kept failing, but it wouldn't give me a reason why. No. And it took me like 4 renders. I left it overnight, woke up, wasn't done, kept going the Sunday morning. It took me like 4 renders before I checked how much disk space I had left. It just wouldn't render because there was no space on the drive.
Oh yeah, I learned that too. Another little tip for you. Windows doesn't like to write files if you're under a specific amount. And I had to go into my actual like computer registry and change that, because if I was if I was less than 100 gigs on whatever hard drive that I was trying to render to, it wouldn't.
Right.
So I had to go in there and change that so that I'm allowed until 20 gigabytes of space. As soon as it's below 20 gigabytes,
let me thread that needle.
Then my computer is like, no, you're not allowed to do this anymore.
Yeah. So we had disruption to our schedule. We weren't able to get the gameplay episode, which like we do bi-weekly gameplay, bi-weekly podcast, and we just kind of hop back and forth. And then because the gameplay got pushed, it was like, okay, well, it's just so happened that we did our I guess it was our 600 subscribers milestone. I was like, let's rip open some packs. We did a cool Streets of New Capenna collector booster draft. It was really fun.
Yeah.
And we just had some packs that we had won from the draft. Yeah. So we came home and we did a live stream. We fired that up for Sunday kind of thing. But yeah, we're back on. I guess we're back on schedule now, right?
Back on schedule, and here today with you on today's podcast for what you're all waiting for: Modern Horizons 3 leaks.
Oh yeah. So okay, one of the pieces of content that I've been really excited to make is modifying my Liberty Prime Fallout commander deck and to juice it up. Mm-hmm. But the minute I found out energy was going to be in Modern Horizons 3, it's like hold off, because there's going to be so much. And the cool thing is in Modern Horizons 3, it looks like the energy commander deck is also in Jeskai.
Yeah.
So it's like perfect. It's going to add tons of stuff for that archetype. And it's not only just the commander decks that are energy. I'm pretty sure energy is in just the main set.
Yeah. And then same for me when it came to Eldrazi's and Slivers, because I'm still sitting on Sliver Gravemother that is left unboxed or like boxed up, open, sitting on my shelf. Because I wanted to do deck tech video about it, and we'll be getting to those soon. But every twist and turn, it came into like other things needed to be worked on, and then the MH3 got renounced, and it was like, oh, we would get the 5-color devoid Eldrazi commander, and I'm like, okay, well, spoilers to that. Part of the reason I wanted to save the Sliver Gravemother is because I was turning it into Slivers and Eldrazi's.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be.
Is
weird.
This not the most perfect opportunity, Brando, to bring out the Slivdrazi monstrosity or whatever it is.
Yeah. On screen, they did test cards a few years ago, which I guess is these actual sets are part of what they were gearing for.
Oh yeah, that makes so much sense.
Because there was a couple of the cards that have like people have like traced right to being just like, oh, here's the parallel. This makes so much sense.
No, there's actually some of those playtest cards that made it into real sets.
Yeah.
I believe some of those initial playtest cards that were in the mystery booster packs, we'll put some of them on screen here. They were like, they're just incredibly weird stuff that like in the research and development team at Wizards, they're like fringe mechanics and things that they want to screw with, or totally inside jokes or memes, whatever. But some of those cards were like rough playtest designs, right? And then 2 years later, they just actually show up as a card in a regular set because like some of that was just putting the feelers out there.
Yeah. And a lot of them are really cool. But yeah, one of them specifically that I've been sitting on for a long time. And it's been fun to watch the price of it because it jumped up to like 700 after it was launched. And then it dropped down to like 20 and then back up to like 300. It's been up and down. Slivdrazi Monstrosity, which I think reads slivers you control have Devoid and Annihilator 1.
Yeah.
And Eldrazi are slivers in addition to their other types.
And then there's another ability, is there not?
Yeah, it's the Sliver Queen ability. Pay 3, create a 1/1.
Right.
I think it's 1/1. It might be different power toughness, but it's pay 3, create a Sliver token.
We have the technology in front of us to look it up, but
you can see it while we're talking.
It's on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this Modern Horizons has typically been a hot commodity.
Yeah.
Modern Horizons 1 and 2 both sold incredibly well. They completely pantsed the whole format of Modern over and over. I mean, I don't know if you guys pay attention to competitive formats and stuff, but Hogak, there was literally like, there's an old term for like Eldrazi Winter when like there was a, like in the I don't know if it was Standard or Modern, but like the pro circuit, it was just like ridiculous. It was just Eldrazi Winter before there was like bands made.
Yep.
And when Hogak came out, it was Hogak Summer. And Hogak basically for like 2 pro tours it was so prolific. It was so busted. It was so broken. And the R&D department was like, yeah, we didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Like you write the card as if like it should have a restriction, right? But it's like you build the deck right and it doesn't. And it was just insane. And then when every other deck in the entire Pro Tour is like Leyline of the Void is in the main deck just to try and shut down Hogak, and Hogak still fucking wins.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a
like
problem.
it finally had to be banned.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, Modern Horizons, these sets are nuts.
Yeah. I'm scared.
If you're a Modern player, you're scared. If you're a Commander player, you're scared.
Yeah.
If you're a Pauper player, you're scared.
Yeah.
These sets, and they have said out loud that they are conscious of the impact they have made in the past.
Yeah.
And they are trying to do better. Do you want to talk about the free spell cycle right off the rip because free spell cycles are a staple of Modern Horizon sets that have wrecked the formats, right? Like we're talking Grief, Fury, Solitude, Subtlety, and Endurance.
Yep.
That was in Modern Horizons 2. These 5 cards were exile a card of that color from your hand and cast it for free. And they were evoke. So you could basically evoke them for free, which was incredible. They have promised that they will do better.
And I mean, in my opinion, from some of the spoilers that we've gotten so far, it's kind of a lie.
I really do feel like I'm going to go ahead and call the shot early. I don't think these ones are going to be a problem. I think they found the balance.
I think the free spells certainly aren't, because I completely agree. One of them that I was just mentioning before that I think needs to go.
The green one?
Yeah, the green one.
Yeah, so...
let's see if we can find it. I don't think the free spells themselves are necessarily going to be too broken. But some of the cards that are coming out of Modern Horizons 3 scare the crap out of me in a way that it's like... I was just ranting about this the other day. When is Magic going to stop, right? And this is kind of a rhetorical question.
No, they're never going to stop.
Yeah, nobody expects Magic to ever actually end. And that's exactly the thing. It's like, so 10 years from now, right? What's Magic going to look like? Because if you're looking at things that they're printing right now, just in terms of commanders of just like the new Gonti, Voja, the power creep that already exists right now has a lot of players being like, what the fuck is going on in this game? How are we even supposed to continue when everything is a literal nuke? What do you think it's going to be like in 10 years, guys? They opened up the gates. They're letting it flood.
Papa Hasbro.
Yeah, Papa Hasbro. Because there's a lot of these cards that are kind of broken. And they're going to continue to print broken cards. It's about...
They have to. They have experience prior of making an underpowered set or two, and how that affects the bottom line. And they've committed to never doing that again. I'm sure that the shareholders, everybody is just like, I'm sorry, but you will never make a set that doesn't profit again. So we are on the train.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been playing since 2017.
Yep.
And Throne of Eldraine was a really, really, really big punch up in power.
Yeah.
And it was because the whole R&D team adopted a philosophy called the FIRE philosophy. And it was like FIRE. It was an acronym.
Yeah. I'm not familiar.
And FIRE philosophy was basically like, F means fun.
Yeah.
I think I was like intrigued. Like, I can't remember what it breaks down to, but they basically decided that like, we need people to enjoy opening booster packs more.
Yeah. And
so they punched up the power level of cards.
Yeah.
And we are still reeling from, like, dude, it's standard alone. There was so many Throne of Eldraine cards banned in standard.
Yeah.
It was like the most amount of cards ever banned in standard ever at one time. They dialed it back a little, but like we're still on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still on fire.
Magic is still on fire.
And speaking of fire, and a card that we were talking about before, it's called Flare. I think it's the only...
The green one here, Flare of Cultivation?
I think it's the only free one that we've seen so far. Flare of Cultivation.
Well...
Officially, it's the only one I think we've seen.
I think...
There's a bunch of the... Oh, no, Flare of Denial.
Flare of Denial as well. The blue one is released. Let's do the green one for a second, just to get a feel for what these are. These are free spells. They're sorceries.
Yeah. So Flare of Cultivation, on screen. But 2 green pips, 1 generic. You may sacrifice, sorcery. You may sacrifice a non-token green creature rather than pay the spell's mana cost. And then it's a Cultivate, or Kodama's Reach. You search for 2 basic lands, 1 onto battlefield tapped, 1 into hand. And
how much mana does Cultivate and
3.
Kodama's Reach cost?
Both of them are 3, but they're 1 green pip, 2 generic.
Yeah, so this is the same mana value, but here's the thing. This is the reason why I think they're balanced. It's a non-token creature.
Yeah. So you want to get... It's balanced in the right context, but if you're talking about specific decks, my Hensi deck, you're talking about your Korvold deck, you're talking about...
Korvold is wonderful for it.
Yeah, you're talking about Muldrotha. You're talking about the decks that care about land ramp and sacking things. It's kind of overpowered.
Well, I think that's the allure of Commander, is that for the deck that it is overpowered in, the deck that it's niche in, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And the wonderful thing about this is that Flare of Cultivation is very similar template to what the Modern Horizons 2 spells were. Mm-hmm. The Modern Horizon 2 spells were like, hey, you can cast this for free if you exile a green card from your hand. Mm-hmm. This is, you basically have to sacrifice a green creature from the battlefield.
And a non-token, which is very important.
What that means is that you had to cast it at some point. So there's like one more layer of setup, right? You're still exiling a card that you had to play or have in your hand at some point, right? But you also had to then commit to putting it on the board. And like, so it's a throttle. It's one stage of throttle. And I do think that it's fucking beautiful.
It is very well, because especially when it comes to the other Flare that we've seen, Flare of Denial.
Yeah.
Again, 2 blue pips, 1 generic. You may sacrifice a non-token blue creature rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Counter target spell.
Yeah, so it's at its baseline, it's cancel, which is a bad counter spell. Mm-hmm.
But it gives you that free cast.
But it potentially gives you, the chance to do it for free. And one thing, I mean, I think it was the Goldfish Magic, MTG Goldfish podcast I was listening to, where it's like, I think they might have found the balance.
Yep.
Because they're requiring one more stage of setup. They are still really powerful, especially later in the game. But they're no longer, like, fucking Grief was so bad.
Yeah.
Because you could do it turn 1. Like, Grief Ephemerate.
Yeah.
On turn 1, you could double Thoughtseize somebody. Like...
Yeah, it was a rude situation, because that's why we recently saw the bans for It was
Fury.
Grief that got banned, right?
No, it was Fury, the red one. But the red one did like 4 points of damage divided however much you choose. Is like it was. You could just nuke someone's board, especially 1/1s. It was oppressive.
Yeah, especially in like the 60 card formats where most of the creatures, like you're not playing. Most decks aren't playing a lot of like the big, however much mana for a 2/4 and a 6/6 and all that. Most of them are 1/1s and 2/2s where it's just like, yeah, they're small, quick synergy pieces because that's what gets you to your win.
Yep.
Next up, I would just love to bring up specifically the flavor of Modern Horizons 3. And there's a bunch of these cards that are being printed and that we've had spoiled so far that are old cards revamped for a new generation, and I love it.
Oh yeah, like they have like the meme names, right? Like Null Drifter here.
Yeah, Null Drifter.
Yeah.
One of the most like popular, at least in terms of like social media. Null Drifter. It's a 7-drop Mull Drifter. They literally changed a letter. It's basically the exact same creature, except it's a little more woof because 4/4 flying, an Annihilator 1, and it's got an evoke cost, which is equal to what Mull Drifter's one, which is 1 blue, 2 generic. Yeah.
When you cast a spell, you draw 2 cards. So it's a Mull Drifter with a bigger body.
Yep.
I'm really interested to see what happens with this. But like, okay, so we've got Null Drifter.
We've got Winter Moon.
Yeah, Winter Moon is a play on Winter Orb.
And it's basically
Blood Moon-ish.
Yeah, and it's effectively the same. It is the same effect, but for more mana. Players can't untap more than 1 non-basic land during their untap steps. Where Winter Moon was, I think it's only 1 permanent you could untap?
No, this is Winter Moon. Winter Orb.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
Players can only untap 1 land.
Yeah, only on 1 land. So this is only non-basic land, so it's a little bit more balanced, but still egregious in the terms of land hate.
I feel like it's gonna very much see play in sideboards. I don't know if it's gonna be a popular commander card. Like we were talking about this, you were pissed off at like the power level of some of this stuff, but I was like, people don't play Winter Orb because they know they're gonna get their shit kicked in for doing it, right? So like,
no, I know that. My biggest gripe specifically because we've had spoiled a new Magus. I can't remember. It's not Magus of the Moon. Magus of the Sea or whatever. It's Blood Moon on a creature. Because there's a red creature that does it too. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's Blood Moon, but for islands. When you play it, all lands become islands. They lose all of their other typings, all their other abilities. They just become islands.
Yeah.
Good card. I see why they're printing it. It makes sense. And heck, even just for the staple that I'll be annoyed by it, Wizards, print the others now. Give us the forest, give us the swamp, give us the... Why are you teasing us 10 years apart for the same effect in a different color?
Oh, because they've got to... I mean, they've got to keep it going for another 60 years, right?
I guess.
So Magus of the Moon is the red one.
Yeah,
non-basic lands are mountains.
Yeah.
And Magus of the Moon...
I think it's Magus of the Sea.
For islands is the new one.
Yeah. That one thing that I know a lot of players are not very keen on is land hate. And it doesn't make sense to me, the context of printing a lot of these cards when you know... Like it's called Magic the Gathering, not Magic the let me play and everybody else sit there and watch me play, right?
Yeah, counterpoint. This is Modern Horizons.
Yeah.
This set is literally designed for Modern. It is a competitive format. Yeah. It is not a casual format.
No, I get that. I 100% get that.
Yeah.
But the fact, like, you can't take these cards and be like, oh, they're for Modern, so they're illegal in every other format. Because they're just not going to do that.
No,
and that's my gripe,
Rule
right?
0 exists for casual formats.
Oh, I know. All of these are great points. I'm not counteracting the fact that anything can be discussed, and having these cards out there, like, right, there's already cards that do similar things, but like most of the cards that these emulate are already cards that most play groups tend to avoid because they're just salt inducing. It just seems weirdly counterproductive to print the same cards in new ways, where just like, that this isn't healthy for the format. That, it's going to bring some spice and competitiveness into Modern, but the rest of the game, the fact that they're printing Commander precons for this set proves that their focus isn't just on Modern.
True, but I would say the main set is focused on Modern.
Well, yeah.
I mean, everything's focused on Commander now.
Yeah.
But these cards, for instance, right here, this Kappa Cannoneer.
Oh, yeah. Cool
is a card that was originally released in a Commander deck, I believe.
Yep.
And they've now chosen to print it in a Modern legal set, and so it's going to enter Modern. And this card is like kind of nuts. I'm gonna read it right now. It's Kappa Cannoneer, 5 and a blue. artifact creature, Turtle Warrior, improvise. So you can tap your artifacts to help cast this spell. It's got ward 4. Like, might as well be ward middle finger.
Yep.
Nobody's paying 4, right? Whenever Kappa Cannoneer or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Kappa Cannoneer and it can't be blocked this turn. And it's a 4/4.
Yep. Going right into Armix and Silas.
Whenever another artifact enters.
Yeah.
And it can't be blocked.
Yep.
It is a finisher. And like Kappa Cannoneer is a crazy card. It's going to see play in Modern. It is going to be insane.
Especially with improvise.
Yeah, with improvise, it's like you play some Ornithopters, you play some Ichor Wellsprings, whatever. You do your artifact thing, and then you just turbo out this big thing.
Right, yeah. Like all of a sudden, even just when it comes to like your Wayfarers, baubles and stuff that don't, like, you would use them to get land. You don't even need to at this point. If this is your finisher in a Modern deck and you're just playing random, I don't know that Wayfarers Bauble is going to be in the set, but things like that, where it's just like, here's these random little artifacts that are useful, but generally don't see a lot of play because like they're too slow. It doesn't matter now. The mana rocks for you, right?
Well, and it's artifact enters the battlefield. It's not even when you cast. Like, treasures, clues, everything, man. Like, it's... Kappa Cannoneer is a nuts card.
It's a very nuts card.
There is, like, what do you want to go on to next year? Well, actually, there's a land that I really want to talk about.
We'll get to the land because I want to talk about those lands too. Let's continue just for a couple, because we started off on a little bit of a tangent of like the reflavored cards. We have Null Elemental Blast, which I think is so tasteful. We needed more counter spells in colorless, and this is coming from like a colorless Eldrazi player. I get why there's not a lot in straight colorless, but we desperately needed them. It's a take on the red and the blue red Elemental Blasts, which are basically just counter spell. Red Elemental Blast is either counter target blue spell or destroy target blue permanent. The blue version is the exact same thing.
Hydroblast?
Hydroblast. Is the exact same thing, but for red permanents. Null Elemental Blast.
It costs a colorless.
One
like
colorless.
Specific, you call that a colorless, right? You need wastes.
Because that was eroded when they decided to do wastes. Anything that generates colorless mana, so your Sol Rings.
I did
anything that generates colorless mana in any regard generates what is the little diamond symbol for colorless.
Yeah, the diamond wingding.
Which is why, like, even new printings of Sol Ring and stuff, it's all the 2 star symbols, because anything that isn't specifically mana of a color is now colorless mana and has been since they introduced wastes.
Cool. Okay.
But yeah, 1 colorless mana, instant. Choose 1. Counter target multicolored spell, or destroy target multicolored permanent.
So can I cast this spell with a red mana with a mountain?
No.
Yeah.
It has to be colorless.
Has to be
colorless mana.
Yeah. So this is I love it. I love the design. It's niche, powerful, and also the fucking flavor text. Yeah. It's got Ugin's hand, like basically casting the Corona Death Ray, like Godzilla shit.
Yeah.
And it says, "Despite my years, I am still but a student of the multiverse. How arrogant to think yourself its master." And it's Ugin talking to his brother Nicobolus.
Yeah.
Like, powerful card, guys.
So,
bruh.
So excited.
Oh.
But yeah, I love that we're seeing some of that flavor, because there's quite a few other ones. Another one right here. Spawn Gang Commander.
On screen here beside it is Siege Gang Commander.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's a whole bunch more that aren't officially spoiled, but do sit in this list. They really went through the realm of, like, they took old cards and they made them new and they made them fresh. Like, bring them to modern in a way where it's just like, it's not just a reprint. It's almost a reprint.
It's a meme print.
Yeah, it's a meme print.
I love it. Like, Spawn Gang Commander, like the original Siege Gang Commander creates, when it enters a battle, it's a 5-drop. It creates a couple goblins, and then it allows you to sacrifice goblins to just throw them at your people's faces.
Yep.
And this does that for Eldrazi Spawn.
Yep.
Which arguably is better because they sack for mana.
Well, you have it's a separate effect, right? It's not when the creature dies. You can either throw it at somebody's face for 2 damage, as written on here,
but you
or
can
you can sacrifice the spawn for
mana.
but
you can't sacrifice a goblin for mana.
Well, not by itself.
Right. So this is like kind of better.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't give you the goblin triggers, but like, come on, there's Eldrazi triggers.
Yeah, and with some of the other spoilers, one of the cards that is not an official spoiler yet, but that we've seen is something that gives spawns Annihilator 1.
Whoa, which one is this?
I can't remember. I've seen it on the spoiler list. It might not be a real card yet.
Yeah, we were having this conversation when we started this.
Some of these cards are not like the list we're looking at right now are already guaranteed because Wizards got ahead of the curve and was just like, oh, we need to let people know that like these cards are real or not. Some of the spoilers that we might talk about today might not be cards that are real, but are cards that we've seen like prints of. People have like taken phone shots of. One of them of note is a new Ulamog that gives Annihilator X to itself, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on it, and it's just...
And it enters with counters. Right?
So when you cast it, you exile the top half of target opponent's library. Then it gets counters equal to the highest converted mana cost among cards exiled this way. And then it has Annihilator X, where Annihilator X is equal to the amount of counters on it. And it's disgusting.
Yeah, so I'm looking at Scryfall right now. Scryfall's a really... I've said this before. It's the best resource on the internet.
Yeah.
It has everything here. It has 90 cards,
yeah,
which is 90 variations, like versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ulamog's not yet.
I remember like 10 years ago when everybody was just like, we were getting like the Battle for Zendikar and all this stuff. We're just like, they're never going to reprint Annihilator. It was too broken. Joke's on you. I never had any doubt.
It's basically that scene from The Shining when the axe comes through the door, like, here's Johnny.
Here's Annihilator. I knew it was coming back. It was a matter of time. Power creep. They couldn't.
Yeah, so I want to talk about
snow-covered wastes.
Oh my god! I think I so far, judging by the spoilers, this is just a courtesy. They're just putting snow-covered wastes in the set, because it doesn't exist yet. I believe. I don't know if snow permanents. Well, Modern Horizons 2 is all snow permanents, so maybe I don't know. Maybe there's stuff.
It's still synergistic, right? It's extra snowlands for you just in case.
So I want to talk about this. I want to talk about Ugin's Labyrinth. Mm-hmm. This land is a mythic. Mm-hmm. The art is sick as fuck.
Super cool.
It is. This is going to be a card that's going to be worth some money. Because
do we want to take a bet? I think it's going to sit after the first couple of months. I think it's going to sit at a regular like $70.
70? Ooh, that's strong. So Urza's God, what's the land enchantment card? Urza's Legacy?
Yeah, Urza's Urza's Saga.
Urza's Saga, right. It's named after the one set or whatever, right? Urza's Saga, the land saga. That card is still worth a lot, right? Like it's been a house. It's incredible in Commander. It's incredible in Modern.
Yep.
I think Ugin's Labyrinth is going to be similar because we're going to read the card. There's this cool feature that they made, this mechanic called Imprint. Mm-hmm. Imprint has always been a mechanic where you have to exile a card from your hand or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Like as you cast the spell or as you play the spell, to imprint something, you exile the spell from your hand. Mm-hmm. And then that exiled spell essentially activates its better attributes. For some reason now they're like, whatever, well, let's just make it so that you can just get it back. Like you imprint, the land is when Ugin's Labyrinth enters the battlefield, you may exile a colorless spell with mana value 7 or greater from your hand. Mm-hmm. So that's the imprint cost.
Yep.
Now, if there's a card imprinted with 7 or greater underneath it, it's Ancient Tomb. It's an untapped tap for 2.
Yep.
Colorless mana. And Ancient Tomb is not legal in Modern.
No.
So this is going to be a house. But you just staple the text on the end of mail us your UPC code and we'll give you the card back.
Yep.
It's just taps to return the fucking exiled card to owner's hand.
Yep.
So there's no cost. I mean, the cost is that you've activated a land that taps for 2, and at some point in the late game, you don't get to tap that land for mana, but you tap it to draw the best card in your deck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is one of those cards where, and like I don't think we've ever talked about it on the podcast. There used to be kind of like a trend with Magic sets where just like I used to call it there's the new synergy sets and the what did I call them? It was new synergies, and it was basically like old bulk sets where it's just like, is this a set that has its own self-contained identity, or is it a set that's trying to boost older cards and make them better again? This land is purely built for a lot of Tron users, and there's going to be a lot of decks that see it, but this deck that it's clearly built for, 100%, is the Eldrazi Precon that we got a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, Null Drifter's a 7-drop that you just put under this, right? They're supporting it in the set.
So you get your Null Drifter, you get this, turn 2, you have 2 mana, then you wait, and then as soon as you're at that point, cool, I'm gonna tap it, I'm gonna get the Null Drifter back. You don't even have to wait. You can literally exile it, then immediately return it back to your hand, and if you've got Arcane Signet in there and a Soul Ring, you're singing your way to, oops, here's a Null Drifter turn 1 evoke. To draw your 2 cards, you've got, starting with 2 land. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I believe that this card will see a lot of play in constructed formats.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that it's going to be good in Highlander formats.
No.
Because you really, really, really want to build a deck with 4 of these and 8 or 12 7-drop or more Eldrazi's or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? You want to be able to make this thing sing on turn 1.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Is like the only one real constructed deck I see this being useful in is Azuladoc as a precon, because he specifically himself, whenever you cast a colorless spell that has mana value 7 or greater, cascade.
Card's so dumb.
So
I actually have not had the pleasure of playing against you with that deck.
Oh, you don't want to.
I know every time you play it, it's against someone else, and like I step on me, daddy. Like I want to know what that deck does. I want to see it.
All right, next especially after this set, I don't know that anybody's ever going to want to see.
I'm on record asking for this punishment.
Let's before we shift off of there. It's not as good, but we also have Urza's Cave coming out of there, just an uncommon. Taps for a colorless, but it's pay 3, sacrifice it. Search a library for a land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, shuffle. It's not that great, but it is another Urza land, and Urza lands tend to have some weird, funky stuff about this. So I'm curious to see. I feel like there's hidden synergies here.
So geez, what's the other land that we're thinking of right now? Because this says Urza's Cave, right? Now,
keep going.
When it comes to the Tron lands, they specifically say if you control the mine, the power plant, and the tower, then those 3 lands have their abilities activated. Now, there is a land that I thought was revealed in this set that was, it basically said that it was all subtypes or something.
So it's a land that counts as all land types, and part of what it did is it specifically turned on itself with the other Urza lands. So if you had one of like Urza's factory, and then you had this other land.
It counted as the tower and the power plant. Yeah. So if you played a mine, it counted as the power plant and the tower.
Yeah.
So it would activate the mine. So the mine would then tap for 2. What is this card called? I think it might be not quite spoiled yet. We're doing that thing. I understand, like, from my perspective, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I know that, like, a lot of content creators stray from talking about cards that are not officially spoiled, but who knows? Maybe by the weekend when we release this will be common knowledge. And
it's also just fun to speculate, like taking a look at some of these, because there's a lot of cards that are spoiled but not officially spoiled.
Yeah, Jesus, this site, what is this? MagicSpoiler.com? Yeah. If you want to see...
they have 2 different lists. They have the official list.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, they have the official list, and then they have the... here's everything that's been like shown to us. We're not seeing it in this list either, which is weird.
Maybe it was a fever dream. Don't worry, everybody. Tron is completely safe.
If we find it, we'll give you a nice little moment of us searching here. It is on screen if we found it.
I love the fact that we shouldn't talk about these. I feel like we should. We're gonna record multiple. Especially with Mercy wanted to talk about some of these cards, so. Let's wait until I guess probably a week or 2 from now before some of these will be out. We'll be able to talk about them. Yeah. We got all these flip planeswalkers. Like it's going to be sweet. This set looks sick. Yeah. Like the last 2 sets that have come out, I've been like, I don't really want to buy the Commander Precons. I want to buy all 4 of the Modern Horizons 3 ones.
So I know you talked about it. I don't know if you have actually pulled the trigger.
I haven't yet. I need to go to Metal Galaxy to pick up my Slickshot show-offs here soon.
Do it now.
Yeah.
Because I was waiting as well, and face-to-face might be your only hope at this point.
Are they all sold out?
Every shop in the city is currently sold out of pre-orders, as per my call. So I went to 401 Games. And they, for the past week and a half, they had 10 plus available. And then 2 days ago, they dropped it down to 5 plus available. I'm like, that's my cue. I'm pulling the trigger.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you ordered the 4?
We ordered the 4.
Okay, shit.
Face to face, as of this morning, still has a bunch for pre-order. So,
and we're talking about the set of 4, right?
The set of 4.
Well, by the time you see this episode, they will all be sold out. But
yeah, probably. Face to face is the only hope that I think you have of just like, I don't know if face to face is gonna sell out because it's face to face.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
But it's still, if you see this and there's anywhere near you that has any of this product left, go for it right now. It's selling quick because there's a lot of power here, and they do look like they're going to be fun decks.
No, well, like for the reason that I want to buy all 4 is because I want 2 of them for sure.
Yeah,
I do want 3 of them for sure.
Yeah,
but in case I don't want to stomach the cost of 3 of them,
yeah,
I know I will be able to sell the other 2 no problem.
Yeah. And that was basically exactly what I did, because I think Brady's going to buy one of them off of me.
Yep.
And then I'm just kind of wrestling with the idea of like, do I want to, because I also got the Liberty Prime Energy Precon out of Fallout. So now I'm wrestling with the fact, like, I knew I was getting the 5-color Eldrazi. I own every Eldrazi and Sliver card printed. So, of course I was going to. They have a very clear hold on my wallet when it comes to Eldrazi's and Slivers. And it's like, I don't know if I want to hold on to the Energy one as well and do the same thing.
Oh, is it still in the package and everything?
No, it's been taken out.
We did it. The episode we recorded, we played.
Yeah,
yours, right?
I've done some mild edits to it. I just don't know if I feel energy. It's just not really my vibe.
You know what? It's like, I don't know if I would have been so into the energy thing if it weren't for the ridiculousness of Liberty Prime.
Yeah, because Dr. Madison Lee, cool card.
Yeah,
especially for energy, like it is a better part of the 99 for setting up Liberty Prime than it is.
I want to run my Jeskai energy deck as a partner commander with Liberty Prime and Dr. Madison Lee.
Yeah.
That will be, of course, so long as the play group is cool with it, but that's just thematically what I think is right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, good little mini segue on that, too. We are planning to do, for anybody that's interested, a little bit of, like, we're trying to record games for illegal commander pairings and doing things of just, like, 1 illegal commanders, where it's just, like, a commander that shouldn't be, or like a creature that couldn't be a commander that we want to run as a commander.
Crested Sunmare.
We're finally doing it for our boy, allowing Air Horse 1.
Air Horse 1 coming to hoof ya.
But then a counter to that is taking 2 commanders and basically doing like where normally they would say partner on them, instead of them having partner, us doing our own illegal partners.
Yeah.
Me and Brady actually did a test run of that the other night. And
ooh, with what?
So I can't remember what Brady was playing. I think he was playing the new Riku, the Riku of many paths, and I can't remember. Oh, Essior, the little bird that gives your commanders ward 3 or pseudo ward 3.
Oh, that's dirty.
I paired Mothman with Mirko out of the new Murders at Karlov Manor.
What does Mirko do?
Whenever you surveil, he gets a counter. Then, at the beginning of your end step, return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with power less than Mirko's. But I don't need to surveil because Mothman gives him counters. It sang. It was ridiculous. Sick. It was like I got both of them out really quick, just like, of course, in green. You've got the mana ramp, you've got that. I got them both out quick, and it literally just turned into just like, mill, bring creature back, mill, bring creature back, mill, bring... God,
okay, this makes me almost want to reach out to the community. Whoever's watching the podcast right now, if you're somebody who watches our podcast and likes our insane ramblings about magic and film and fart jokes, whatever is the standard on this podcast. So I want to do Crested Sunmare.
Yeah.
And I've been convinced by Daniel from Into the 99 that I should do it as an illegal pairing just to make it like, because it's already like an illegal commander.
Yeah.
So like have fun with it, right? So my original idea was to do Crested Sunmare, which triggers off of life gain. At each turn you gain life, you create a 5/5 horse. And I was thinking of pairing it with Kenrith because Kenrith has like an onboard life gain effect.
Yeah.
And I was going to call it a king and his horse.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be funny. It would enable 5 colors, so I could just kind of go the gamut of shenanigans for the horse thing. Yep. Brady was trying to convince me to do Shadowfax with Crested Sunmare because horse tribal. Yeah. But Shadowfax and Crested Sunmare both want to do wildly different things, and I don't I don't want the deck to be shite.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to do that. Then there's also the option of just mono white crested sunmare, bunch of basics in the deck and a bunch of ways to gain life. If you, as our community, have a suggestion for me, I am at a crossroads of indecision. Let me know if you think any of those 3 ideas are better than the other, or if you have a better suggestion. I want crested sunmare in the command zone, and I don't know, like, I would love, even if you have an answer, if you're the type of person that listens to these podcasts and you're like, oh, I'm going to comment and I'm going to provide my input. Come up in Discord and help me do the deck tech.
Yeah.
Like, let's flesh out this deck. I want to do it as an episode.
Yeah.
And I want to do all sorts, like the Liberty Prime one. I'm going to wait on that until we start to get this Modern Horizons 3 influx of energy cards.
Yep.
Because they're all in, like, Jeskai as well. I cannot wait to do that deck.
Should be interesting.
I would love to just do some, like, live on the live stream, build with the viewers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. In the description below on this video, I don't know how Spotify works in terms of descriptions. You can find our link tree. You can find our link tree on the main About page of our YouTube. You can find pretty much links wherever to find us and our link tree through our Facebook, through our everything. Hit us up. Our Discord link is in there, along with all of the other corners that we exist on the internet. Come hit us up. Come join the community.
Yeah, I want to shout out like Alex. I've been speaking with him in the Facebook messages lately. He was like absolutely crushed that we backed out of going to the Vancouver Magic Fest, which is next weekend for us right now.
Yeah.
We did that because, and I guess this is a great segue to what our summer is going to be like. We backed out of spending all the money to do flights and hotels to go out to the Magic Fest,
yep.
which that money spent would have been great for spreading the seed, right? Like marketing the project. But we decided to hold off and reserve that money for the potential new equipment that we're going to need, like a third camera for the top. Mm-hmm. And also we have, I guess we're not going to, until it's official, mm-hmm. we're not going to say anything for sure, but we're starting 2 new shows, mm-hmm. 2 new series that we are going to release under a larger channel.
Yep. People that we've been collaborating with.
Yeah, a larger Commander channel.
I guess we can say the focus of it?
Yeah, we are going to be doing a PDH series.
Yep.
And we are going to be doing a CEDH series.
Full-blown real CEDH.
Yeah. Our decks are in the mail.
Yeah.
We are a proxy-friendly house here.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, the Elsha deck that I ordered is a $13,900 deck.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I just want to make the content, and I would love to play the deck. So
yeah.
we ordered some proxies.
Yeah, the Thrasios build that I had was 9,000, and it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not spending that much on cards for a deck that realistically I'm only going to get to play like a couple of times.
Yeah.
You don't sit down to play those things casually. Some people do. Our play group, we don't have CEDH players like that.
No, we just I love the idea of CEDH because I do enjoy 60 card competitive formats. I love the adrenaline rush of like being that sole pilot against mm-hmm. a sole opponent, mm-hmm. and also just like the solved format puzzle thing, right?
Yep.
And we're gonna be doing CEDH content. We're gonna spiff up the studio. We got a little bit of a plan to do a makeover. We got some cool things coming down the pipe, and so we decided to hang back from the face-to-face Magic Fest to save some money and invest in what is going to be a strong year for us. We were hoping to get to 500 subscribers for our 1 year, and we're cruising past 600 at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like things are working.
Yeah.
We're getting some steam. We're getting some locomotion.
Yeah.
So we wanna make sure that we're gonna stay pace with what I guess our ambition is.
Yeah. And thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Like where we're at, I was hopeful right from the get-go of this project. Before we even sat down for our first filming day, I like had an idea in mind of like the math and the expectations of like viewership, watch hours, this and that. I think I got pretty close for a lot of it, but it was still kind of one of those things.
You were like, so high right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
You were like, a year we're going to be making good money.
I never said 1 year we were making money. At least not in like guaranteed. It was always just like, if we're lucky, we're making money on the very minimum. It's like what I think like the first I wish I had written it down when we did, because it was New Year's 2023. Or
2022. Rolling into 2023.
Yeah, where, like, big conversation amongst, like, friends and household and all this stuff. And I literally sat down. It's like, to say 6 months in, to say that we're at, like, 200 subscribers and, like, 500 watch hours, guaranteed. Yeah. And everybody was like, no, you're delusional. No, there's not a goddamn chance. And then we beat it.
Yeah, and seriously, thank you guys, because like largely, like, we have our local community, we have our friends, we have our family, our whatever your within hand's reach network, but that doesn't make the YouTube channel flourish, right? Like, the fact that our numbers are growing and our goals are being met means that you guys, I guess, are liking what we're doing, and I really. That's really sweet. It makes me feel really good.
Yeah. And let us know too in the comments, in our community, wherever the heck you can get a hold of us. Just like, what do you guys want to see? Because it's not just about like, we're gonna do what we want to do. That's every content creator. We want to know what you guys want to see. Do you have specific decks that you want to see us pilot? Specific commanders from like 20 years ago that nobody runs? Like, if you've got weird zany ideas for stuff that we can do,
we have received a request and we have not fulfilled it.
What is it?
Kyle, Silent Revelry, he requested that we play a game with what's the red card? God, I did this last time. I couldn't remember the name of it. Possibility Storm.
Oh yeah.
Possibility Storm as a global enchantment.
Oh yeah, okay. We'll talk to Emery about that then.
No, like, I believe all of us are on board, but Brady was like, no. Like, he was like grown. So
our sweet boy can sit out for that game then.
Yeah. But we gotta fulfill that request because we have had a request for content.
Okay, so that'll be the first episode. We'll make it we'll give it a special title.
Yeah, and if you're watching, I don't think I've forgotten about it. We just have not figured out a way to shoehorn it into the schedule yet. And
we've been
honestly
busy.
Like, actually, I think one of the best ways, I don't know if you're up to it, do you want to do it on Spell Table? That'd be a great way to include viewers in that process kind of thing, right?
We do want to do more Spell Table stuff.
Yeah.
We've been gearing that because we do regular Spell Table. We haven't streamed or recorded any of it.
We have bad internet here.
Yeah.
I'm having issues. We moved. We have a better studio space. We have like a nice large room to work with.
Yeah.
The internet is fine.
Yeah.
But it completely tanks and drops out for 15, 20 seconds at a time, like constantly. So we've had a hard time live streaming.
But we're figuring it out.
Yeah. We're trying to, we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
We're doing our dang diddly best.
Do you want to talk about this land card now that we found it?
Yeah. Okay. So circling back to Modern Horizons and, so
talking about Planar Nexus.
Back to Modern Horizons 3 spoiler stuff.
Yeah. This one's important. We got to talk about this.
Yeah. Planar Nexus. It is every non-basic land type, which includes cave, desert, gate, lair, locus, mine, power plant, sphere, tower, and Urzas.
And Urzas, which is weird. Like,
it's because there's another card that doesn't see a lot of play, and then there's also an unset card that are Urza lands as well. There's a reason for it. Basically, locus is probably the only current useless one that exists on here. Everything else, there's minor sphere synergies. Power plant, mine, and tower basically only exist for the Urza Tronland fiasco. Urzas, being a named non-basic type land, is something that is fetchable out of one specific card, but could potentially...
Oh, okay. Yeah. But the interesting thing is, like, if you
have any of the other Urza lands on the battlefield, because it counts as all 3 types in the terms of power plant, mine, or tower, it turns them online. So all of them are, if you have Urza's tower, Urza's mine, and Urza's power plant all on the battlefield at the same time, they go from generating 1 colorless mana each to tapping to one of them generates 2 mana, another one generates 2 mana, and then the other one taps for 3 mana.
Yeah, so let's talk about the play pattern on this. And my question is, right now, because my only Tron deck is a Pauper deck.
Yeah.
In a Tron deck, your mana base consists of 12 lands that are always the 12 lands. You have the 4 mines, the 4 power plants, the 4 towers. And then you have some other lands, whatever. Like, these are like decided. Now, my question is, does Planar Nexus mean that all Tron decks till the end of time play the 16?
I don't think it necessarily plays the 16.
Do you play all 4 of these with all 12 of the others?
I think it just boils down to the math of what the deck's trying to do. I think realistically, if anything, is you take one of each of the other play sets out and you're just replacing it with this. Because you're guaranteed.
No, you can't take any of the other ones out.
No, I don't mean like entirely, but like you're playing 4 Urza Mines. You take one of those out, you're playing with 3 Urza Mines now, and you replace the 4th with Planar
Okay,
Nexus.
yeah, I can see maybe some of the big brain deck builders maybe finding over the course of the next 12 months what the proper ratio is.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if you just go 16, because like the point of playing a Tron deck, if you're not familiar with how the deck works, it's you have a whole bunch of cards in the deck that make it so that you can essentially use those early colorless or green mana or whatever to fundamentally make certain that your 3rd land drop will complete your Tron. Like they're called the Urza lands, right? People call it Urza Tron. I wonder where Tron came from. It's sort of like just the colloquial name that like people use for you've assembled Tron. And when you assemble Tron, you have 3 lands on the battlefield that tap for 7 colorless. Now, the badass thing about Planar Nexus is that it allows, let's say you have a turn 1 Planar Nexus and a turn 2 Urza's Tower.
Which is the one that taps for 3.
That's the one of it's the one that taps for 3 mana. You now have 4 colorless mana on turn 2.
Yeah.
So now you can play stuff like Karn on turn 2, which was not possible in previous Tron builds. Like, I love it. I think this is so cool. They've actually taken something that has been a staple crop for so long, this like Tron package.
Yep.
And they've added something that not only adds another land to that suite of lands that sort of couldn't be altered, right?
Yep.
Because it referenced the cards themselves only said if you have the power plant in the mine.
Yep.
Right? But now they've added this one that's like, hey, this land actually acts as all of them. It's like a fucking changeling outcast for, like it's like a changeling land for Tron.
Yep.
But
yeah, it's really
I just
cool.
want to shout out the fact that if you read further, 1 end tap, add 1 mana of any color. It also does the thing that Tron wants, where sometimes you just need an energy refractor or whatever Wizard's Rockets or whatever the card is that can then take your colorless mana and filter it into colored mana so that you can cast your colored spells. It also does that.
Yep.
It's insane. I think that this is I'm excited because again, I feel like Modern is rotating. Right? Which people are fucking so mad at previously. Modern was not supposed to be a rotating format. It's supposed to be a fucking format where you can build a deck and your deck won't rotate out. But every time they print a Modern Horizons set, people get pushed out of the format and they have to buy a new deck because the whole format changes.
Yep. Which is its own kind of gripe. But at the same time, I think the bigger takeaway, even for those that might be upset about that, is it makes old things that were kind of good but underused really good. Especially when it comes to like Planar Nexus.
If they've done their job right? Like,
if they've done their job right. But even when it comes to like Planar Nexus sort of thing, and just like not to include, but to include the new Eldrazi Precon, Devoid was a mechanic.
that stuff's not legal in Modern, right?
Yeah. Devoid, and even just like colorless play, even when it comes to Tron. Tron's always been seen as like one of the stronger archetypes, but it's always been so focused on fast colorless mana to then do big colored spells, where it feels like a lot of this is giving new breath to specifically colorless, and in the commander archetype Devoid, which is something that was a really cool mechanic that basically got underutilized and only had like 3 synergistic pieces to it. And it's like now it's like this is a whole mechanic that was almost forgotten to time. Nobody would have thought that Devoid was coming back, and now it's back, baby.
Yeah, I feel like it was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Before they touched it again. And yeah, I mean, we've got so much more to see. This will not be the last time that we talk about Modern Horizons 3. This will probably be the topic of conversation for months.
We need to talk about
the bear.
Well, I'm going to bring up quickly. We'll leave this for the next because I know this is one of the things that Mercy wanted to talk about a little bit. The Goyfs are back, baby.
Goyfs.
The Goyfs, yeah. What? Nether Goyf?
Nether Goyf.
The Lurgoyf creature type, which a lot of people have been going nuts over.
Yeah. I mean, Tarmogoyf made waves.
Yeah, big waves.
Nether Goyf. I don't know. it seems conflicted. It seems like Tarmogoyf at home.
I mean, it is good Tarmogoyf at home, but that's the point.
Well, I guess we'll read the card here.
Especially for a 1-drop.
Nethergoyf is 1 black, right? Like, if you made Tarmogoyf... Like, Tarmogoyf used to be one of the most expensive cards.
Yeah.
It was like... I remember Steven Squiggle.
Yeah.
He ripped open a pack of Modern Masters and pulled a foil Tarmogoyf. And he sold it for like $220.
Yeah.
And now... the fucking Goblin Shaman token from Fable of the Mirror Breaker is worth more than a fucking Tarmogoyf. It's like a $9 token, and Tarmogoyf is $8. And like Nethergoyf is the new updated version of Tarmogoyf. It's in black. It costs 1 black mana. It's Nethergoyf's power is equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that plus 1. It's a similar build, although it says your graveyard. This is a huge knock against this card. Not only that, but it also has an escape ability. 2 and a black, exile any number of other cards from your graveyard with 4 or more card types among them. Then you can bring it back, but you have literally brought it back to its own death. Like you're bringing it back as a 0/1 probably.
This exists. This exists. This is one of those weird cards. This exists for Commander, not really for Modern. I'm sure it's going to see some interesting play in Modern.
Well, then it should have been in one of the Commander decks, not in the main set for Modern, right?
That's what has a lot of people upset about this. like a lot of the things that are coming out of just the main set for Modern Horizons 3 is still pretty much just it's cool cards for Modern that do cool things, but it's secretly Commander.
Everything is secretly Commander.
Because that's like a finisher card, right? You mill yourself out to like your whole deck. You throw that down, throw that into Zeotora. Cool.
Yeah, but you realize that you are exiling cards from your graveyard. You have to exile 4 of different types. You're bringing Nethergoyf back with 4 of the types that it wants exiled.
Yeah.
So unless you have more than that in there.
Well, yeah, and that's what I mean. Like it's kind of like a mini finisher, right? You've milled half of your library, so getting rid of those amount of card types isn't going to matter, and then you're using it to either fling or sack to draw cards or something that's getting you to the engine that you want.
I think the maximum that it can be is a 5/6 or 6/7. That's like Tarmogoyf normally was like 5/6 reliably.
That I mean, even when it comes down to like potential storm count kind of thing. I don't know if escape counts towards storm count. I think it does.
No, escape is casting 1 spell.
Yeah, you may cast this card from your graveyard. So yeah, escape. If you're doing some kind of like black storm count that matters, you're escaping it. You probably sack it for mana to help pay for it back. You keep exiling things from your graveyard to just be like, cool, storm count's 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to see what people do with it. Just right now, looking at it, it's like, man, Tarmogoyf seems better.
Yeah.
Because, it costs 1 and a green, but it checks both people's graveyards or everybody's graveyards. So you can exile your entire graveyard and still its power and toughness are augmented by your opponent's graveyard too, right? Yeah. Like it's
not as powerful. I still see it getting a lot of use. I see getting a lot of use in synergies that we might not.
Yeah, the criticism I'm seeing is the fact that Tarmogoyf has been falling off.
Yeah,
it used to be like a Modern staple, and it still gets played.
Yeah,
but it's been falling off, and for them to be like, all right, here's another one. It costs 1 less, but it's like, I don't know. To me, it looks. Okay, unplayable is a fucking strong term, but to me it looks like it missed the mark. Tarmogoyf was strong for certain reasons, and I mean, we'll see.
I think this, just based off what you said, I think this is a card that's under your radar, because I think this is playing into a play style. Because like I've listed a couple of things, and most of those are probably kind of mediocre at best ideas. I have a feeling, especially for being printed at Mythic, this is likely a card that has some unseen synergies that both of us aren't seeing. I hope it's probably going to fucking shine.
Yeah, I hope so. Because you know what would suck is fucking buying a collector booster and opening a Mythic and being like, it's Nethergoyf.
Yeah. Aside from that, though, a card that is absolutely going to shine, and a lot of people are very excited about.
Oh, you want to talk about Felia?
Absolutely.
Felia. Okay, so the one thing I've seen all over fucking internet is that this is a Felia exuberant shepherd.
Yeah.
It's a corgi.
Yeah.
legendary creature dog. A lot of people were like, dude, it's a corgi. It's not a shepherd.
Yeah.
Not realizing, apparently, I didn't realize that corgis are shepherds.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's 1 and a white. 2/2. Flash. Whenever Felia Exuberant Shepherd attacks, exile up to 1 other target non-land permanent. At the beginning of the next end step, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. If it entered under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Felia. Okay, so it sort of reminds me of Soul Herder, where flicker things make it grow. It's exile another non-land permanent, so you can do a lot of shenanigans with that.
Yeah.
Check out the most recent episode of Into the 99. They do a cool little budget deck tech on all the shenanigans that you can do with this card.
Yep.
And
yeah, I'm excited. I've been long building a list for Lulu. I can't remember the full card's name. Jolly Holophant or something. It's an elephant angel. That mono white elephant angel that cares about flicker. It makes things bigger when they've been exiled and they come back.
Interesting.
So
okay,
he's one good boy.
I have a question. About this. Why does it have flash when it has an attack trigger?
It's responsive, right? So 2 and a white flash when it enters the
it's only just attacks.
Exile up to 1 whenever it attacks at the beginning of the next end step. Enter the battlefield if it enters the battlefield under your control.
You know how Restoration Angel
Yeah.
is flash and it exiles a target non-land permanent when it enters the battlefield. That seems like the template that they're working with here, but it doesn't do it until you untap with it and attack with it.
Interesting.
So I'm curious why it's a flash creature.
I think, especially for being modern, it's probably defensive. It's probably just that whole notion of just like, oh, no, it's exactly why. It's a 2-drop flash. Whenever it attacks, it doesn't have haste. You flash it in on somebody's end step.
Yeah, you can for sure do the end step.
To attack.
Yeah. You can take them by storm, I guess, which, okay, yeah. I mean, I actually feel like this card is going to see play in all, like, everywhere that people like to do flicker things.
Oh, absolutely, it's going to.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Yeah, you cast it on somebody's end step, you move to your turn, it now can attack. Especially in white, you're not really going to give a white creature that wants to flicker things haste. So now you gave it pseudo haste. It comes in on somebody's end step. It's also just the defensive magic of if you're playing like white and blue, all of a sudden you've got open blue and open white. People don't want to cast their spells. They're waiting for responses. You don't have the counter spell in hand. You've got Felia.
Also the art, dude. I'm sure you're seeing it on screen right now. The friggin' tongue out.
It's so adorable.
So good. Well, we should end on the cute corgi because I know that, Mercy wanted to talk about some cards.
Yeah. We'll give a quick shout out though to Kudo. Go look him up. Bear Commander. I'm terrified of this thing.
Oh yeah, 2-drop bear.
Turns everything into 2/2s.
Other creatures have base power and toughness 2/2 and are bears, in addition to their other types. This reminds me of the Overwhelming Splendor.
Yeah.
Like turns everything into 1/1s, but that's just like targets one opponent.
Yeah. No. Kudo and what's her name? I feel like my brain's erasing her from existence the way that she was smoked by Sarah.
Ayula, the queen of bears or whatever.
No, I was making a very bad joke at the queen, the mother of machines, Elish
Norn.
Yeah, Kudo and Elish Norn is probably the most broken combo that I've seen, and we haven't even seen Kudo be printed yet. Your things are 2/2s, and now they're dead. But yes, focus on Felia. Back on screen here. Felia is the only thing you need to worry about. The goodest boy.
Yeah, we talked about Felia. I definitely feel like we should wrap this up and move on to, I guess, the end step.
The end step.
Thank you guys for hanging with us and chatting cards, as always. This set's going to be fire, and then we have Bloomborough following that. And we have new shows that we're going to be doing. And we've got our super special show that we're trying to start editing here right away. We've got a whole bunch of shit we're working on.
Yeah.
And man, 2024, it's going to be fire.
I mean, it's been a certain kind of hellish fire so far, but it's about to be that good fire soon.
Yeah. That what's it called? Last dab?
Yeah, exactly. That wonderful nuance of we're slightly dead inside, but we're doing great.
And on the topic of hot sauce, let's Let's spice this one up. All right. Did that make any sense? I don't know if it did. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Thank you for watching. Everybody that makes it this far, I really appreciate it.
Especially for the podcasts. Doesn't get as much love as our gameplay videos, and everybody who's here right now watching this part, you're the real ones.
It's the personable part. It's the intimate part. If you've made it this far, I don't know, comment something about Modern Horizons 3 in the comments. Let me know you made it. And we'll see you guys soon for a lot of the gameplay stuff we've got coming down the pipe. And we out. See you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.